let me just say that this could be the most profound thing that changes your life forever. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited about today's video because today's video is going to be 10 habits to help you create success for the new year. Now, I actually made a video like this a couple of years ago and it was one of my most popular videos ever. But I've learned so much since that initial video about what it truly means to be successful and some of the characteristics of successful people. And especially through all the challenges of this year, I really understood essentially what the core things are that you need and those core habits are that you need to be successful. And the thing that I realized is that the biggest difference between those who are successful and those who aren't successful is self-worth. And so all of the habits that I'm going to be sharing with you today really are based on the cornerstone of self-worth, because when you get that right, you will become completely unstoppable in your pursuit of happiness and success. So, I just want to also let you know that this video is going to be a part of a new series that I am starting here on my YouTube channel called the Change Your Life Challenge. I know that so many of you absolutely love these changing your life videos, and I have changed my life so much. There's so much about my experience that has changed, and so I just want to share with you everything that I have done to essentially become a more productive and more successful person. So watch out for these videos all about changing your life, because I really want you to have the best experience you possibly can in the new year. And lastly, before we get into it, I do have a free workbook that you can download. It is called How to Live an Extraordinary Life. It will help you figure out what you want and take the action steps to get there. You can download that using the link in the description. So my first habit is that you need to get in the routine of creating a focused list around the things that you want. I know, this seems really simple, it seems like basic goal setting 101, but sometimes the best tips are actually the most simple. Recently, I had one of my most successful launches ever in my business. It almost felt like it was effortless, and yet I still hit all of my goals and made over 6 figures in sales. And one of the reasons why I think I was able to do this was because I was so specific about exactly what I wanted the launch to look like. What I want you to do, the habit that I want you to get into, is writing out what your goal is, writing out that top goal that you have and that you're trying to work on. And then make a list of all the specifics around that goal. So for example, for me with my launch, it was that I wanted to enroll 30 students into my Simply Business Group coaching program. I wanted the launch to be effortless. I wanted it to feel easy and fun. I wanted all of the women to be incredibly diverse, and I wanted them to be at different stages of business, some just starting out and some a little bit further on with a bigger community. And I will tell you that every single thing that I wrote down on that list came true. Why? Because I was so intentional about how I wanted the experience to be, which made me not have to question the action that I took and what I was trying to attract. So many of us are still setting such airy-fairy goals, and whilst yes, sometimes it's good to have these big lofty dreams, when you're actually working towards something specific, you need to know the specifics of that thing. So say for example, one of your goals for 2021 is that you wanted to start a YouTube channel. What do you want the experience to look like? What do you want the experience to feel like? Try to get as specific as you possibly can. Putting those things out into the world, writing them down, is just going to help your reticular activating system be wide open towards the possibilities that will lead you through to those specifics. Get in the habit of writing a specific list around your goal and then just focusing on how to actually bring that to life. Habit number 2 is changing the way that you speak to yourself. Holy moly, this could be one of the most profound things that I have learned this year that has honestly just like changed the trajectory of my life and my business. I really started noticing just those sneaky little thoughts that popped into my mind that told me either I wasn't good enough, or that I didn't know how to do something, or that I wasn't as good as such and such person. Like, it's really common to have these thoughts just floating around in the back of our experience, sometimes going completely unnoticed. We have to make sure that we are changing the way that we speak to ourselves, because whatever we say to ourselves will become our reality. We trust ourselves at the core of things. So when we're telling ourselves things like, you can't, you won't, you're not good enough, that is exactly what we're going to believe, and therefore that is going to be the creation of our experience. We have to make sure that we're slowing down and listening to what's actually going on in our brain and doing what we need to do to start changing those thoughts into something a little bit more empowering and positive. One of the ways that I have done this is through mirror work, saying things out loud, looking at myself in the mirror, and I promise you, in the beginning, I did not believe a word of the things that I was saying to myself. But over time, through repetition, my positive thoughts were able to drown out my negative ones, and I am seeing myself in a completely different way. Another thing that you can do is hypnosis. Hypnosis is something that is being studied a lot more in neuroscience as a way to really change the brain. Because hypnosis really focuses on the points of deep focus while in a deep restful state, it's one of the best ways to actually change the molecular structure and those neural pathways in your brain. So whether you record a hypnosis for yourself or you use one that is on YouTube, those things will really, really help you to completely change the perspective. And again, like I said in the beginning, it all comes down to your sense of self-worth. If you don't think you're worthy of success, it's unlikely you'll take the action that you need to in order to bring that success to life. So work on those thoughts going on in your brain to really start thinking more positively and more self-empowered. Another little tip that I will say here is that if you're finding it really, really, really difficult to change the negative thoughts to positive ones, a little interim exercise that you can do is something that they use in cognitive behavioral therapy called recharacterization. And what that actually means is you change the voice of the negative thoughts to, I don't know, I once heard someone say that they changed it to Mickey Mouse, something that you're not going to take as seriously as your own voice. And once you stop taking those thoughts seriously, they will start to diminish, and that's when you can start using the positive ones to replace it. Habit number 3 is that you need to start finding people that expand your perception of what's possible. Lacey Phillips, a manifestation teacher that I absolutely love, she coins this term expanders. But I've heard a lot of other people talk about you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, or they study this in communities as clusters. The economic status of certain clusters really will determine what's possible for the generations within that cluster. And so something that you want to do is be really, really intentional about the people that you are spending your most time with. Now, that's not to say that you need to have a family full of millionaires or that all of your friends need to be successful entrepreneurs, but think about the content that you're consuming. Who are you following on Instagram? Who are you following on YouTube? Who are you letting infiltrate your mind on a daily basis? And what are their beliefs about success and money? Are they expanding you and expanding what's possible, or are they contracting you? For me, I recently started looking at Amanda Francis's content. She's a manifestation coach here online. And I had some reservations about building my business up to $1 million until I found this image where she shared that from one year she was making $500,000 to the next year where she was making $1.5 million. Now my business is sitting around $500,000 annually right now. So that immediately expanded my awareness of possibility that, hey, if she can do it, if she can go from $500,000 to $1.5 million in the space of 12 months, why can't I? You really need to be spending as much time as possible being expanded by people who've achieved the success that you desire to have yourself. Habit number 4 is that you need to start learning something new every day. Look, there's just no way around this, and you'll hear that every successful person ever is going to tell you to read books, watch videos, go to seminars. Like, I don't know one successful person whose success advice doesn't include knowledge in some way or form. However, you will know that I am someone who's all about finding ways and methods that work for you, that you find fun and enjoyable. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you need to read 1 book a week, or that you need to be listening to 7 hours of podcasts or investing in particular programs. What I'm trying to say is, let's just make it as simple as possible and commit to learning one new thing every single day. Maybe one day that is a new methodology for success on a particular platform. And maybe one day it's just a fact. But every single day, if you commit to learning something new over the course of the whole entire year, or even the course of a whole entire month, your level of knowledge around a particular topic that's important to you will be so much greater than it is today. Sometimes I think we limit ourselves by putting these massive expectations on what knowledge acquisition should look like, when the reality is, as long as every single day you're learning something new, that 1% over time is going to just increase so much for you. My mum used to always ask me when I got in the car after school, did you learn something today and what made you smile today? And honestly, that's such a good reflection tool. At the end of the day, just sit down for 5 minutes and say, what did I learn today? And if you hadn't learned anything yet, then just look something up on Google, because I promise you, you have so much information available to you, there's almost no excuse not to be able to do this one. Habit number 5 is that you have to start taking care of yourself. Now, I'm not gonna spend too much time on this point because I actually did make an entire video about healthy habits. You can check that one out on the screen right now. I will leave it linked. But honestly, again, this is one that there is just no way around this. You have to start taking care of yourself. If you don't have enough energy to take action, you're probably not going to do it. If you don't have enough energy to show up online and build the business of your dreams, you're probably not going to enjoy that success. And the reality is the things that are going to give you energy are pretty basic. Move your body, get enough sleep, and focus on your nutrition as well as hydration. The things that you've probably heard since primary school: eat healthy, exercise, drink water, and sleep. I've got a whole video on it, like I said, so it will be linked on the screen. But one of the habits that is truly going to transform your success next year is focusing on your health. My next habit is that you have to get good at prioritizing. So many people ask me how I'm able to be so productive and yet still so chill and able to just spend so much time just going out, shopping, doing my hobbies and all of these things. And it really is because when I am taking action, the things that I'm not taking action on really do move the needle in my life and in my business. I've never been one to go for extra credit or to try to do things perfectly. I've always been someone who's like, right, I'm just going to do what needs to be done, and that thing that I'm doing needs to be important. And that's why I think I'm able to still achieve so much in my business, but do it without working 16-hour days or burning myself out. I know so many people that are just focusing on things that don't matter. It usually is because of fear, of course, because they're afraid to take those big, massive steps like filming a YouTube video or launching a course or pitching their coaching services. But the reality is those little tasks are never going to move you forward. And so what I would really say is that here's a little exercise. I want you to set up a priorities list. Think about those goals that you set in the beginning, those focus lists that you made, and then next to that, actually write a list of things that will move the needle in those areas. For example, if we go back to starting a YouTube channel, filming a YouTube video once a week, posting that YouTube video online, those are two very needle-moving activities to grow a YouTube channel. Maybe reaching out for some collaborations or promoting your videos on social media. Rather than doing hours and hours of title research or spending way too long choosing music, those are all tasks that, while seemingly kind of important, what they're really doing is just wasting a hell of a lot of time. Really focus on the big things that is going to get you and your message out into the world, and make sure that you're putting those as priorities, because those are the things that are going to make you successful. Habit number 7 is that you have to stop wasting time on what I'm calling faux hustle. What that actually means is we have a kind of issue with our society that a lot of people thrive off being busy. I see so many entrepreneurs really adamant to fully block out their calendar from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to sleep with busy things that they need to get done. When in reality, based on the habit that I just shared before, most of the time we're actually not doing things that move the needle in our life or in our business. You really need to sit down and understand, what am I actually spending my time on? And is this true prioritizing tasks, Or is this faux hustle? Am I keeping myself busy to make myself feel good, or am I actually moving the needle in my business? That is something that you need to be asking yourself each and every single day, because I will tell you that I've seen so many women here online that year after year, they are in the exact same position that they were, and yet they spent the whole entire year working on their business. How can this be so? How can someone spend a month, let alone a year, working on their business but never really moving forward? If this is resonating with you, you need to ask yourself, am I faux hustling? Am I taking all of the actions but really just going round in circles with the stuff that doesn't increase my visibility and doesn't make sales in my business? Because these two things are the most important things for success as an entrepreneur or in any area of life. You know, am I working out or eating healthy? If you're trying to achieve health goals, like anything outside of the core things that you need to be focusing on, maybe you need to do them, maybe you need to get to them eventually. But the reality is, if that's what you're spending most of your time on, I guarantee you 365 days from today, you will be in the exact same position that you are now. Okay, so now habit number 8. Let me just say that this could be the most profound thing that changes your life forever. You need to develop a healthy sense of self-assurance. In the beginning, I mentioned that a big difference between those who are successful and those who aren't is self-worth. We have this tendency to think people that are self-confident or self-assured are egotistic. But the reality is, if you are going to be successful, you have to be self-assured enough that you can actually go out and tell people, these are my goals, this is what I'm going to achieve, this is my content, you should watch it, this is my program, you should buy it. If you aren't someone who's able to self-celebrate, to self-promote, you are probably not going to be successful in the online space. You have to get comfortable with celebrating yourself. You have to get comfortable with promoting yourself. There is nothing egotistic about this. We need to just get rid of that story from our idea or our society, because it isn't serving anyone. We can understand someone who's self-confident for the better of other people, and the difference between someone who's narcissistic and self-serving. We get the difference between that. And yet for some reason, we've just blended those two things together, which is causing so many people reservations about being self-celebratory and self-promoting. You have to get in the habit of being able to say to people, hey, this is what I'm trying to achieve. Hey, this is what I've got going on in my life. This is what I'm selling. This is what I'm creating. We have to get a little more confident in the area of sharing what's going on with us, because that is one of the most crucial skills to being successful, specifically in the online space. So that's something that I would say that you really need to work on. Now just take baby steps. You know, maybe it is just posting a little small post on Instagram, and then maybe it's posting a little small video. Maybe then it's getting confident enough to share a post where you promote another video that you've created or something that you're working on that you're going to later sell. You know, taking those small baby steps to get there is absolutely fine. But if you think that you're going to be successful in the online space through hiding or being behind the scenes, I'm sorry, but you'll end up like those people who just haven't moved forward in an entire year. You have to just develop a healthy dose of, I mean, we can call it self-love if we want to, but just that self-confidence, that self-assurance that you can actually go out to the world and say, hey, I've got something to say, you should listen to me. Or hey, this is what I'm going to achieve. Just a smidge of Michael Jordan energy, if you will help you to be more successful. Habit number 9 is that you really need to make sure that you are treating your environment with respect. Now, this is something that I spoke about in my first habits video, how I had really got in the habit of decluttering and making sure that my environment was something that inspired me and made me feel empowered. But I want to take that a step further. In the thought of self-respect and self-worth, you know, those people who don't treat their environment with respect are probably not treating their body with respect, their mind with respect, and therefore are really going to be struggling to be successful, to build the self-worth that they need to be successful. Actually, working on your body and your mind can be a little difficult. Working on your environment is one of the easiest things that you can do that will have a domino effect into those other areas. I'm simply talking about keeping your space clean, getting rid of junk that you don't need, not holding on and hoarding things things that are cluttering up your house and your environment. Every so often, just going and wiping down the surfaces, keeping your laundry done. Like all of these little things, you cannot tell me that these are difficult things to do. They are really easy, but when you get in the habit of treating your environment with respect, I promise you that will have a spillover effect into wanting to treat your body with respect and wanting to treat your mind with respect. So if you're struggling to do some of these other habits, start with your environment, and then like I said, that will have that domino effect into those other areas. And then the final habit is that you need to slow down with your decision making. Here's the thing. Why change is so hard for so many people is simply because our society has set us up so that we aren't empowered to make better decisions. Like I mentioned, we're so accustomed to living an extremely busy lifestyle and not even slowing down enough to really decide little things like what's the best dinner for me to eat. You know, we're so distracted and everything is so fast paced that of course it's going to be difficult for us to make the best decisions for ourselves. I recently started really trying to slow down everything, like not only my decision making, but even how fast I ate, how fast I got dressed, how fast I even did some of the work that I do in my business. I've really tried to slow down and do things way more intentional, and it's allowed me to just make such better decisions in both my life and my business. I mean, I still fall back in old habits. Like last night, for example, my partner and I, we'd been out all day, we got home, we'd been snacking all day, we had hot chips while we were out, we had chips when we were home, and it came down to being dinner time. And so we thought, well, we're lazy, we're tired, and so we ordered Thai food. Even though neither of us were hungry, it was just a force of habit, and we were being lazy, so we made a bad choice. And then we ate the food so quickly, watching the TV, my dog was squeaking his ball, like there's so much going on, we're both scrolling on our phones, that to the point that afterwards we both just ended up feeling so sick. This is just such a common occurrence in people's lives. They just make decisions on autopilot because it's the easy thing to do or because you're just not even thinking at all. And these decisions usually end up being the wrong one. If you just literally took a time, like if I took the time last night to just take a breath, check in, ask myself, am I even hungry and what do I truly want to eat today? I would have made a much better decision that didn't result in me feeling incredibly sick and a little sluggish today. So you've got to really just get in the habit of like slowing down. I mean, do this really practically. Anytime you have a decision to make, literally stop and take a deep breath and count to 10 and then make the decision if you need to. But either way, when you start to slow down your whole entire life, you'll start to slow down your decision making, and I promise you, you will make much better choices. And really, when it comes to changing your life, when it comes to developing habits, it's not like a light switch where today you're just gonna switch it on and all of these habits are going to be integrated into your experience. No, it's just over time, that 1% each and every single day, those small changes that you make that are going to make the profound differences over time. And slowing down could be the start of all of that. All right, I realize that this video has got incredibly long, but obviously I have so much to say on this topic of habits and changing your life. So I cannot wait to continue this series with you, the Change Your Life Challenge. And I did just want to remind you that I do have the Live an Extraordinary Life workbook. It's a really, really fun workbook. You know, it's free to download, so why not? But it's a really fun workbook that will help you to set yourself up for success next year. Let me know in the comments below which habit resonated with you the most and which you are going to be focusing on first. I really want to thank you for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.